Consciousness. Does it exist? Where is it located in the body? How do we direct our consciousness to achieve something? So I have this note from somebody in India, and it's one of these notes that, philosophers have pondered now for thousands of years, and an untold number of books have been written, and I'm supposed to answer these questions in an email? So anyway, I sort of got a chuckle out of that. There are many aspects to the debate around consciousness. Is it confined to the brain? Does it emerge from material processes in the brain and nervous system and through biological processes? Is it a mere byproduct, in other words, of the law of survival or some such thing? Well, that's a big debate, and believe me, I'm not going to be the one to answer it as from the standpoint of authority, except the authority of the great rishis, saints, and masters, east and west down through the ages, which basically say we are spirit. We are a part of the infinite consciousness out of which has emerged this vast and complex universe. In a way, our bodies are vast and complex. Our personalities are vast and complex. But they have their source. The only way they could exist at all to our self-awareness is from consciousness. Some of these things seem obvious, and I wonder why people debate them, but they do. Logically, these things are not necessarily provable. Intuitively, they are, in a sense, obvious. So I wrote back a couple of things I'll share with you. Consciousness is not physically located in the human body, though its presence is manifested. In other words, consciousness, in order to be known, has to manifest itself through form, through motion, through speech, and different actions and so forth. But consciousness recognizes itself. I am. Now, I may or may not be able to prove it to you, since you are I am. You can cognize my I am in connection with one another. But otherwise, no proof do I need to know that I am. So, the experience of near-death experiences and many other things, reincarnation, and the testimony of the saints and masters suggests strongly to us that consciousness continues after death, and therefore consciousness must pre-exist death. I don't know that the therefore is an absolute therefore, but it certainly is implied. Now, consciousness, as I say, can only be proven or demonstrated by its manifestations. And when consciousness contacts the body, contacts the objects of the senses, and there initiates a desire to obtain one of those objects, then willpower, energy, appears in order from its seat in consciousness in order to obtain that object. So consciousness in the form of desire, interest, and energy is a creative force. Now, I would maintain, just privately, if you will, that consciousness and energy are like husband and wife, man and woman. They're two halves of the same thing. Energy is embedded in consciousness, and consciousness is embedded in energy. I believe that the scriptures and the teachings of Yogananda suggest that it is the very nature of consciousness to create. Okay? Now, it's also true in the spiritual path and in the path of yoga that we take our consciousness, withdraw it from outward activity in the senses, and try to reunite it with the overarching consciousness of God or the infinite spirit. But that doesn't by itself deny the creative nature of consciousness. I wouldn't go so far as to say God was compelled to create the universe, but I think it comes pretty close. Phrases have been used to say that why did God create the world? God wanted to share God's love with many. It's the nature of bliss to share itself, all these different things. Frankly, what I think is what we're really saying is that consciousness and creativity, meaning energy, creative energy, are really one and the same thing. There are those who say the universe has lasted since infinity. Well, if God is infinite, maybe that's true. I don't really know, and I don't think it matters. But this is a big debate in various ways and with various facets of this question. And so I just laugh to think I'm supposed to answer it through an email. But I do think it's relevant. I do think let me put it this way. If you're depressed, you have no energy. Energy and joy go hand in hand. Okay, well, that's all I have to say on this profound subject, so I better end while I've said something maybe useful. Okay.